Hi everyone, I'm Jenna, and today I'm going to share with you my TBR for the Reading Rush, formerly known as the booktub-a-thon. And I'm going to share with you the books I plan on reading for the 7 reading challenges that Ariel and Raylene have come up with. And if you want to know more about this readathon, then I would highly suggest you go check out their YouTube channel called The Reading Rush. And there are all the details on this readathon. So without further ado, let's get into these challenges. So the first challenge is to read a book where the cover is the same color as your birthstone. And for me, since I was born on July 9th, my birthstone for July is a ruby. And for this, I decided to go with Scythe by Neil Schusterman. And as you can see, this book is very much red. And that's why I chose it for this challenge. Also, I've heard very, very good things about this book, and I just can't wait to dive into this. Basically, this book is, I believe, set in the future where humanity has conquered things like there's no hunger and no illnesses and no one can die even. And so because of that, there's kind of like a population problem. So there are these people called scythes, and they get to glean the population, and which basically means kill people that they deem, I guess, don't belong anymore, so they keep the population down. And at the beginning, we get Kytra or Citra, don't really know which way is their name, and Rowan, I think they're siblings, and they get chosen to be an apprentice to the Scythe. And one of the requirements is you don't want the job. And they don't, so they get chosen. And I'm excited to see where it goes from there. So this is what I've chosen for that challenge. And the second reading challenge is to read a book that starts with the. And for this, I chose The Year of Living Biblically, One Man's Humble Quest to Follow the Bible as Literally as Possible. And this is by A.J. Jacobs. And it sounds like this book is going to be a book about this guy who decides that he wants to follow the Bible literally, and so he takes stuff from the Old Testament plus the New Testament and sort of incorporates that into his life. And I think it's going to be hilarious, but also going to be very insightful, and he's going to learn a lot of stuff, I think. So I just can't wait to read this, see what I get out of it. So this is what I chose for the second challenge. And the third challenge is to read a book that you've seen the movie to but haven't read the book yet. And for this, I decided not to go with a movie but a TV series, and that is Once Upon a Time Tale Reawakened. And this goes along with the TV series called Once Upon a Time, which is basically a sort of fairy tale series, and it is great, and I loved it. And it seems like this is very similar to that TV show, so I'm excited to dive into this, see if I like this as much as I like the TV show. Now the fourth reading challenge is to read the first book that you touch. And for this, it can be interpreted in many different ways. You can line up a whole bunch of books, and then the first one you touch, you read. Or you can just go to bookshelves, and the first one you touch on your bookshelves is that one you read. The book that I chose was the book that I first touched when I was picking out my books for my TBR. And the one that I touched first is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. And this is the one that I'm reading for the Cards Match Your Birthstone one. And I decided to use this one for this challenge as well, since this is a pretty thick book. And decided say 4 to double up, and so that's what I'm doing with using this for this challenge. So for challenge number 5, you have to read a book entirely outside, and for this I chose a short book, and that is William Shakespeare's The Jedi Doth Return by Ian Dozier. And this is basically based off the Star Wars movies, and it's written as a play, and more specifically it's written how William Shakespeare wrote plays. And I find it really fascinating and I love it. And I read, or rather listened to, the first 2 via audiobook, and it's just the best way to consume this. And that's what I plan to do when I get to this book. And I'm gonna basically be listening to this while I commute back and forth to work. So this is what I'm using for that challenge. So the 6th reading challenge is to read a book from a genre that you typically don't read from but want to. And for this I chose sort of Christian books. And not Christian fiction, but ones that actually talk about sort of real life and all that. And for this I chose The Year of Living Biblically. And as you may know, this one I used for a previous challenge where you have to read a book starting with the. And I decided to use this one for the challenge to double up because this book is kind of long and I didn't want to add another book here. That's why I'm using it for this challenge. And challenge number 7 is to read a book set on a different continent than where you live. And this challenge is to basically open your horizons and some new things about different places, because right now we're in a time where we can't really go exploring and new places and things, so I have to do that through books. And for me this was a little hard because all the books on my shelves basically are from North America, but I think I did find a book to fit this challenge, and that book is Minky Falls 2, which is set in summer by Mark Cirilli. And this is a manga, and I read the first one last year, and that was a reread, and the second one will be a reread as well. And the reason why I say that I think takes place in Japan is because this book doesn't really explicitly state where it's set, but the characters' names, Minky Yoshida and Hiro Sakurai or something, they sound like Japanese names. Plus, at the beginning of this book specifically, there is this festival that they go to where you see she's in Japanese garb and they're writing on the flag/banners that appear to be Japanese. So these are all the 5 books that I plan to for all the challenges for the booktub-a-thon / reading rush. And I'm very excited to get to all these that week. So I guess that runs off this video for today. I really hope you liked it, and please leave a comment below if you are participating in this readathon, because I would love to know. And I will see you soon for a new video. Bye!